Martin Luther King Jr., 1929-1968, was a central figure in the American civil rights movement, employing nonviolent activism to challenge systemic racial segregation and inequality. His leadership and philosophical adherence to nonviolence were not just strategic but deeply moral, drawing on inspiration from Mahatma Gandhi's principles and Christian teachings. King's rise to prominence began in 1955 with the Montgomery Bus Boycott, spurred by Rosa Parks' refusal to give up her seat to a white person. This year-long protest led to a Supreme Court ruling declaring bus segregation unconstitutional. It also showcased the efficacy of nonviolent protest and catapulted King into the national spotlight. His eloquence and charismatic leadership during the boycott demonstrated to the larger movement that nonviolent action could bring about significant change. In 1963, King's leadership culminated in the historic March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. It was here that he delivered his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. In this momentous address, King vividly painted a picture of a future where all people would be judged by the content of their character rather than the color of their skin. His speech was not only a call for racial equality, but a profound vision of social justice that transcended racial lines. King's activism and speeches consistently emphasized the interconnection between race, poverty, and war. The establishment of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, in 1957, with King as its first president, further institutionalized his nonviolent approach to civil rights. The organization became a driving force for various actions throughout the southern United States, aiming to dismantle systemic racial barriers through coordinated protests, voter registration drives, and economic boycotts. King's impact extended beyond specific protester speeches. He fundamentally challenged the American conscience. His work ultimately led to significant legislative accomplishments, such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which helped dismantle legalized racial discrimination. These victories, however, were not achieved without personal cost. King was repeatedly arrested, faced violent attacks, and his home was bombed. Despite the constant threats to his life, he remained steadfast in his commitment to nonviolence, believing it to be the most potent weapon available to oppressed people in their struggle for freedom and equality. Tragically, King's life was cut short on April 4, 1968, when he was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. He was there to support striking African-American sanitation workers, underscoring his expanded focus on economic justice. Although his death was a profound loss, King's legacy endures, enshrined in American history as a symbol of the struggle for civil rights and social justice. His speeches and writings continue to inspire movements for equality and justice across the globe, affirming the power of nonviolent activism and the enduring quest for human dignity.